Hey guys, it's That Movie Nerd here, and I'm here with Steve Blum, who is a very prestigious voice actor with a filmography I can't even repeat half of it in like an hour. You know, you've done like everything.
I paid him many rubles to say this.
Yeah. But he's also the voice of Zeb in Star Wars Rebels, and I'm a huge fan of Star Wars Rebels, and so are a lot of you. And I wanted to ask a few questions about that. My first question was, what is the most important aspect that you feel you brought to Zeb? What about Zeb do you admire the most?
Well, first of all, he saved the show because it sucked without him. I'm just glad to be part of the show. I've been part of the Star Wars universe for years in the video games, but this was kind of a breakthrough for my career, just to be able to play a character that's actually introduced into canon. It was fun being part of that crew and being introduced as kind of the muscle of it, and having the character actually develop into a family member and learn the whole backstory. Well, not most of the backstory, and to have a true arc. I'm not really used to that for my characters in a lot of the cartoons I work on, just because there isn't time or money or enough room in the story to develop the characters like they are in Rebels. And so I'm just grateful to be part of the Star Wars universe and part of such a show that the attention to detail was grandiose and magnificent all the way through.
You mentioned what it was like working on different Star Wars projects. That actually leads into my next question. What is the major differences between working on a Star Wars themed project, particularly with Disney, versus anything else, any other voice acting job?
Well, that's a two-part answer. First of all, like I said, I've been working on Star Wars projects, meaning video games, for many years. And the video game thing is completely different from working on an animated series. Usually we're given a stack of dialogue, and we just have to bang through it as fast as we can in 4 hours or less, and try to develop the characters as best we can and hold context. Original animated shows, we have the luxury sometimes of working with a cast and recording as though it were a radio play. And particularly on this show, because everybody behind the glass is such a huge nerd of the Star Wars franchise, even if they've been working at Lucasfilm for years and years, we have the benefit of working with our friends, developing a family relationship, and actually learning a lot more about the story than maybe we even need to when we're recording sometimes. But for us as fans and for us as friends, we love that context. I think it informs our performances. And something that was different about this show was that Dave Filoni would actually come into the room before we record almost every episode, and he'd give us some overview, and not just the arc of the story, but how it applies to the Star Wars universe and how it applies to humanity and where he got his influences from. He's an avid reader and historian, and every single thing that you see in Star Wars Rebels is carefully crafted, thought out, and planned like you would an epic story for a film.
What is your favorite episode or story arc of Star Wars Rebels? Like, what sticks out at you when you think about the show, or what was the most fun to record?
Oh man, they're all. It's so hard to pick one thing. I did love the episode where Zeb and Callus were stuck on that moon, just because that's a rare thing in cartoons. I think Dave called it a box episode, where you really just have two characters and they're developing a relationship there and redefining a relationship there. And it was the start of our romance too, so that was very nice. But just working with David and doing that episode was such an intimate process. It was very unusual. The other one that I really loved was the one with the Purgils, just because I love that creature. They've been getting a lot of haters lately. It's kind of funny, but I love them. I just love the whole idea of them. I love sea creatures, so the squid whale kind of thing is awesome, and the jump that they do, that seems to me all of the technology was modeled after, is kind of an amazing thing. I loved every episode for different reasons, though, but those two particularly stand out in my mind today. Tomorrow could be a different answer.
And just a more broader type of that question, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? I'm just curious, of all 9 of them, I think now.
Well, it's got to be the first one, yeah. New Hope. That was a gateway movie for me. I was in high school when that came out, and I was an apathetic youth and hated everything and everyone, and I really wasn't interested in doing much of anything until that movie came out, and it was revolutionary. I remember it was the first thing that really caught my attention and made me sit back in my seat and go, wow, what did I just experience there? It was the sound and the visuals and everything about it was something completely new. You guys are spoiled. But back then there was nothing like that. And I can still remember that rumble in the seat when the cruiser first came across the screen. And it kind of changed my life on a cellular level and ultimately led to all this.
My last question, I wanted to end the interview by asking, do you know if we're going to see Zeb again, possibly in Star Wars Resistance? Or if you don't know, would you like to come back as Zeb?
I would love to come back as Zeb. Right now, Callus and I are enjoying our honeymoon on Lyrasan, planning a family perhaps, looking for a vacation home. So I have no idea what they have planned for Zeb, and even if I did, the chip in my neck would start blinking if I even start thinking about it, and the head would just explode in a visceral rainbow. I don't know, but I would love to revisit Zeb and actually learn more about what his life was like before. I'd love to see maybe prequel stuff and see what happens from there. It would be amazing if the gang could reunite at some point. But it's not up to me. I'm just a voice monkey. I'm just praying that they hire me for something.
So I really hope that they hire you back again for everything. You're really amazing.
Oh, thanks. We put a lot of love into this show, and this show particularly. I do into everything that I do. I put everything I've got into it, but Star Wars holds a special place in my heart, so very grateful.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Check out Star Wars Rebels again. I'm sure you've already watched it if you've seen this video. If not, check it out again. He's amazing as Zeb, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And just a quick plug for my new website, bloomvoxstudios.com. Come and check it out, guys. I'm teaching now. We can do this together.
God, really?
Yeah, we can do this together live. Oh, yeah, and nerdsvote.com. Go to nerdsvote.com and check that out. If you're not registered to vote, please do that. I don't care I do care who you're voting for, but I'm not going to say it here. But just be part of the system. We can actually do good together.
Yeah, definitely go to Nerd Vote. I'm definitely going to go on that after this interview.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. And with that, it's that movie leader and Steve Blum signing off.
Thanks, guys.